All right, hello, welcome to part 2 of the bridge we are making, remaking, exploring, having fun with. Cool. All right, so in this section, we're gonna add the what is it? The railing that is between the tiers, the stuff that I guess holds the tiers together, and we're gonna finish. That's basically a part of the last part we need to do for the tiers, and then we can move on to the supports and the cables and all that stuff. So let's go to the thingy. Right, so let me switch my screen here. Right, so this is where we left off in the previous video. If you haven't watched the previous video, watch it, do this. Maybe you did it the same way I did it, maybe you made it better and you explore, and that's good, that's great. I encourage you to go and explore. And that's basically what I did for the next section. If you will watch the original, they did it in a way, moving points with expressions and stuff, and since I'm a rebel, or I could do whatever I want, right? I did it a different way. I didn't even know exactly what I was doing when I was doing it, or how I was gonna do it, but I just figured I can do it this way. I also kind of improved it a little bit because in their version there was like an issue on one of the sides, I think, and I didn't like that, so I did it in a different way. So that's what I'm gonna do here. And if you don't like my way, you can do it your way, right? We're all good here. All right, so what I did, instead of just grabbing whatever stuff from here and doing all sorts of stuff, I just made one of the sections of the crisscrossing pattern that we're gonna be doing here, and then duplicated it. Then scale it and made it match to the divisions of the curve, and that's basically how I did it. This is a good thing because you can also learn how you can match existing geometry to divisions and stuff like that. So I think this is a good thing that you should or you could learn from this, right? So let's build that part here. We're gonna start here on the side. Again, we're gonna start with a line, one by one. That's our prototype line. We're not gonna do anything to this line, like it's not gonna be procedural. We're gonna make like a piece that we're gonna copy to a curve, and then that's gonna be like obeying the procedural parts of the bridge. So what am I gonna do here? I'm gonna make a transform for this. So I'm trying to do like a crisscross pattern that is gonna be copied. And so this is gonna be moving. So I'm gonna move a point. I'm just basically modeling this. Yeah, so I'm gonna grab the top point, which is gonna be number 0. I'm gonna move it. Oh yeah, I need to move it first. Let's do another transform. Move the first point, again 0, to -1 on the C. But why is this not obeying my point? You would ask yourself. Well, this thing is moving the whole primitive and it's guessing the group type by this, and I'm saying just do group 0, but doesn't know what I'm trying to group. So let's change this to points, and now you can see that's what I'm doing. I'm moving this point at the bottom over here, and then from this guy I'm gonna do a duplicate of that. That's what I was trying to do before, but let's do this again because I kind of cheated there. So we move this guy over there to make this first crisscross, I guess, beam, and then we can make another transform here, which is gonna flip this, right? So we're just gonna scale this by 1. But now if I do that, if I scale it -1, it goes below because the center of this is on the Y0 axis. You could go here at the pivot and maybe translate this pivot as well. I'm just gonna add 1 on the y-axis to put it back in. And now if I merge these two guys, which that is not a merge node, thank you very much. If we merge this, now we have the, like an X, but we want to have like also two little what I'm called little bars on the ends, basically. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just basically gonna merge this. This is gonna be one of the bars. If we merge the original guy, I can see that's one of the bars. And now if we do another transform on this guy by one on the, what is this axis? The C axis, when actually -1, -1. We move it over here and then we merge it. And now we have this piece. And now this piece is the one that we're gonna copy. And it's important that we have this like normalized or just on 0 to 1 kind of scale. So what I'm gonna do is do the scale, no, another transform to scale this on several axes, like 2 axes. But let's see what I'm doing over here. Right, so what we want is, let's just try to do what we want, because this is where the issues happen, right? So remember that we copied these 2 lines. We actually gonna copy it to these 2 lines. These 2 lines are actually gonna have now more divisions, but for now, let's just try to copy it to that. And then we are going to say copy to this, this guy. That's basically what we want. But now we only have one on each end because there's not enough points there, right? So what we're gonna add now is we're gonna add divisions to that length attribute. So I mean to that length curve there. So here I'm gonna press Alt or Option on Mac and then just drag over these wires again. Do that again because I did it pretty fast. If you press Alt or Option on Mac, keep it pressed, and then you drag the wire to the other wire, you can kind of merge them. I love doing that. It's fun. Let's put a sample here so we can add divisions to this thingy. And let's make it be on maximum segments, not on size there. Remove this guy. Maximum segments is what we want. Let's put it up to, I don't know, 8 for now. And then now, if we go here, we can see that's what's happening, and that's what we want. That's what we want. We want copies. Oh, what am I doing? I want copies all over the place on these curves, but you can see the curves are not matching. Like they're bigger than they should be. If we even add more divisions here, they're gonna be doing more. So what we need to do, we need to scale them based on this separation, basically between these 2 points is a specific length. We need to get that length and squash our piece to those 2 points, basically, because yeah, that's what we want. Righty, so we're gonna squash them between those 2 thingies. So let me just make sure I'm doing the right thing. Okay, so what we're gonna do to squash them on the C-axis is, let's get to, and this is where I think this is nice because you can learn how to do these things. Most of the time we just copy 2 points and we're done. In this case, we are doing different things. Is this one? Okay, yeah, sure. So let's now do the scale on this axis. You can see if I try doing this manually, and I do this when I'm developing stuff, like, oh, how much do I need to scale this stuff? Okay, that's exactly what I want, right? But I did it manually, so if I change the length of this, it's gonna fail. But that's what I need. So I know this even the value that I need. And then I know that that is the correct scale that I want. So I just need to figure this out from the components that we have from the from the segments here. So we're gonna use the segments here, and I think I made it resample in another way. Let me just do this here. So we're gonna say, we're gonna put a null here, so we have control over exactly this, because this is not gonna, there's the resampling we're doing over there. I think it was used for something else on the original one, but I don't think I used that for anything. You know what? Let's just use this. If we support resample, if we don't use that, we can fix it. But what we're gonna do is get the, from this guy, get the segments, and then find the length of the segments. And the way we're gonna do that is dividing the length of this by the number of segments, and that will give us the amount of the length of each segment, right? Because this is divided 13 times, so basically dividing this length. So that's what we want. We're gonna divide the length 13 times, and then we're gonna do it here. So we get the length, copy this value, copy parameter over here, base relative reference, and now we have it like being really big, right? But that's not what we want. We said that we wanted to divide it by this amount of segments. So again, copy this value, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you can actually, once you have an expression here, you can paste another expression just by going in there, putting divided by, and then just right click there and then put another expression, and it puts the other expression there. So now look at that. And then if we click on here, oh, look at that. That's the value that we needed. Magic of Houdini. Now, if we do that, let me scale this back. You can see these guys are now matching there. And if I change the amount of segments here, see they are matching correctly, right? Let me remove that. What am I seeing? There we go. You can see this is matching, and that's exactly what I want. So part one of this is done. But before we move on, we have overlapping points and lines, right? Because if we turn on the points, you can see here we have overlapping points. We don't want that. We want to clean those points. So let's just put a fuse here, and actually, no, after the copy, now we can snap it, and now we have the points removed, overlapping points, and we're good. And now we can put a wire node, and you say, why a wireframe node instead of a polyframe node? Because this gives us like this little great balls on the end, and it looks nice. And this bridge, it's simple. It's not super. Actually, we can remove the round corners, or we can add them, but I like them. I like the round corners, and we're not going for super mega realistic bridge, just like a prototype bridge. Let's make this smaller, and now we have that railing support stuff that we want to have on all of the tiers. So we need to put that now between the tiers, right? That's the next thing. We want it between the tiers. We go here. We want it to be here, right? Okay. So now, oh, also I think we have some issues, right? Yeah, because you can see this guy is going over the length of this. We don't want to copy it and all of those points. So we need to remove one of the last point from the line that we're copying it to, which is this case is this guy. We don't want to copy it to the last point. And in the all right, I know what's happening. And the what happened is that we were, or the way I did it before is I grabbed the original line, not the both of those lines. But let's see if we can do it on this using both lines, because that's a good challenge to do. Like what I did on the other one is just group by range. We could probably do it group by range and then use this and then like resample. Let's just let's fix that. Let's do the resample here. Oh, and if you don't know how I did that, you can just alt drag a node and you copy it. And then this guy, what I did this guy, just to not group the last point. Actually, this curve is going the other direction, seems like. Is it? It's fine. What I did to just not group the last point here is just go to points here, change it to points, and change it to group type by points, and then say exclude last point. Let's say last point group, and just remove this end by, you can see if we click here, we can see we're grouping everything. It's yellow. But if we just remove this, you can see we move one from the end, and that's basically how you do that. My question now is, we do this? So this is the way I did it before, but can we do this with both of these guys? Probably. And it's gonna be more difficult, but this is, if you wanted to do it this way, you could, like this way, it's perfectly fine. But we just found a challenge and let's just tackle it. You can see this is working, it's removing the last point. Okay. But how do we remove the 8 as well? Well, the range filter has a value here, 1 of some value. And I think if we make this like 1 of 8, now 1 of, how many are there? 13? Oh no, that's not gonna work. Select.
3 hours later.
All right, yeah, so yeah, we can do this. The way we can do it, let's see, how many points do we have? We have 8 points, okay. So here we have 8 points. So we need to select 8 points out of 8 points out of 9 points. I think it's 9. There we go. I knew this is possible. So yeah, so you're basically selecting 8 points out of the next 9 points, and that removes 1 on the end. So that is the way you could do that. Cool. So you can do that. Let's see. I mean, of course, we need to plug this value to here, unless this is gonna fail. So let's plug that. There's relative reference there. This is gonna be 8, and then place the relative reference here as well. And let's add 1 to this. Add 1 to this. This select range filters, it's a little bit confusing, but we're selecting 8 points every 9 points, basically. That's kind of what it's doing. And then we're removing 1 from the end. Or we're not removing actually, because this range is actually doing all the removing. We're selecting 8 points every 9 points, if that makes sense. Because we have 18 points, so it's 9 by 9, it's 18. Right, we're only selecting 8 points every. If this was like a regular line, we would be selecting half of it and then another half of it, or in 2 sections, right? So yeah, that's another way we can do this. And let's now, instead of plugging this to the copy, let's plug this one. And let's see what we get now. Oh, we also need to change here the source, I mean the target, to exclude last point. So now we exclude that one. I think this is backwards, right? Because we want to, in this case, the curve seems to be in the other direction. So we're going to exclude the first point. We could do several things here, maybe flip it, or we can also use the offset here and just offset it by 1, and there we go. We are good. Let's test this, because if this is not working, we are not good. Copy main tiers. Let's merge this over here. Actually, that main merge wasn't right. So we have that. And then let's see if the parameters work. If we make the length, yep, yeah, it's working. It's working. It's doing the right thing. Now we haven't exposed the segments, so let's do that. Let's delete that part that we did before. So let's expose that. Let's click on the little dinosaur friend we have there. Expose the segments, and then let's call this tier segments. Let me see how we called it before. Tier divisions, tier support divisions. Is it that one? Yeah. Tier support divisions, because this is used later for adding supports to this. Support divisions. Divs is fun. And then we also need to expose, what else? The width here, but let's leave it that for later. We have more issues, bigger issues right now, bigger fish to fry, and that is that this is need to be between the tiers here, not just there. So let's do that part. And how we're gonna do that? Well, we already have a curve that copies the tiers, right? Why don't we just use that? Well, yeah, sure, why not? Copy the points. We're gonna copy to this points, this bridge, and let's just plug this guy over there. Just copying it, and no, I don't want to do a cyclic redundancy thing there. Let's cut that, and now there we go. We have it. It's done. No, we're not. We're not done. First, we don't want it at the top. We only want it at the bottom 2 tiers, or the between the tiers. And also this guy is not the right height, because you can see this is the height is not obeying the height between the tiers. So now we need to give these guys the right height. But before we do that, let's fix the one at the top, because we don't need to have one at the top. And to do that, we're gonna do exactly the same thing we did over here by grouping the values there. So let's group by range again, and let's do points again. Tier, no, yeah, tier height, exclude. I'm doing like a very weird name. Tier support group, let's just call it support group. And then we don't want, let me just remove those template values. We don't want the 0 value, so we can just say remove the first one. There you go. We're just done. And here we need to say use that group, tier support group. Okay, now we have only between the tiers. Now we need to make this guy squash between, or squash and stretch between the tiers. And we're gonna do something similar to what we did here with this value. And we are going to scale it again. And again, this method, I mean, you could grab the points and join them, which is what they did on the original tutorial, and that's a perfectly valid way to do it. In this case, I'm kind of showing you, what if you had like a piece that you are trying to fit between that, and you can do it. It's not that you're gonna be having to do that all the time, but this is a way to actually do that if you need to. Let me, so let's do that now. So since this guy is, it's the bottom, it's actually gonna have to stretch basically up. You can see that this guy needs to stretch a little bit high from the bottom to the top. So we just need to change the scale. So what are we gonna use? I mean, we have the tier height, right? Tier height. Let's copy that guy and paste it here. Relative reference. There you go. We're done. Wait, no. The thing is, this thing is too big. We need to divide it by the amount of tiers, which is actually this guy's. Copy that guy and divide this by the amount of tiers. No more tiers. Tiers amount. Yes, right? Minus tier amount. I guess it's a tier amount minus 1 because we only have 2. So let's put this on a parenthesis, minus 1 there. There we go. Yeah, because we were dividing that by 3. We needed to divide it by 2 because we only have 2 of them, and now we have a value of 1.42. And now if we go all the way back down here, there we go. Look at that. Let's hide the numbers so we have a cleaner view here. And that's supposed to be working. Let's see, tier height. Yup. Support divisions. Look at that. It works. It works. It works. And tier amount, yes, because the tiers are, there's too many tiers. And there's no more tiers. No more tiers. There you go. That is good. I think the only other thing we need to expose here is the wire radius on this, guys. Let me make this maybe a little bit smaller. I think that's too big. Something like that is fine, I think, for now. And let's expose that parameter to our values here. Let's call this I guess tier support with tier support with do we already have that? No, right? I don't know, I had some deja vu, I guess. Oh, also I'm forgetting, but you should try to make these guys not go all the way to 0, because sometimes it just causes issues and the value is too big here. Apply, accept. And if we actually, this should be from 1 to like 0.5. That after that it just gets too extreme. So let's 0.5. You can still make it higher. Oh wait, oh, 0.5. Wow, the heck? What the what? Are we? Oh, we're doing the wrong value. No, yeah. Nope. Nope. We did the wrong one. Let's make that to the value it was, 0.5, apply, and now still not applying. There we go. Still 0.1, 0.5 is too big. 0.05 is that. Okay. 0.05. That's what we want, actually. There we go. There we go. We could normalize these values if you wanted to put it from 0 to 1, 0.1, but I think I'm good for now. You can do that if you want to. Again, homework. If you want to normalize these values, how will you do that? How will you make this go from 0 to 1 and have the same range that I have right now? How will you do that? good homework there if you want to take that on. All right, so we think we have a really nice network here. We don't have a lot of stuff going on, but we do have kind of a complex geometry over here. I think we're doing good. All right, so that's gonna be it for today. I don't want to do like a lot of stuff on every single video, but yeah. All right, hope you enjoyed this one. Again, if you feel like this is too slow, too fast, make a comment, make yourself be heard. That's why we're doing this on the internet. Make yourself be heard. Make your comments. If you dislike me, let me know at the bottom. Let's see what you say about me. All right, I'm enjoying this. I'm glad to be showing you these techniques that I like to use, and I will see you in the next version of this, which for you it could be right down there on the side. Click it. It's fun. Bye.